Hey, this is Darren from Property Prosperity. I have just finished up a meeting tonight with a future client that has asked me to come and help them out. They're in a situation where they have just sold their property, and it's an older lady that's retired. Her husband's now passed away, and so they're no longer. She's living in the old family home. Whereas I meet heaps of clients in a similar sort of situation where they've brought up their kids in this family, their family home. They've added and extended, grown their house over time till it's sort of, 5-6 bedroom house with sort of 3 bathrooms and 4 garage and rumpus room out the back, and it's a huge house. And then eventually the house no longer suits the situation where they're at now, where they're basically just using one room left in this massive mansion that doesn't really suit the situation. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a discussion about where the head versus the heart fits into the whole buying and selling property. So I thought it's a good scenario, and so so what I thought I'd have a bit of chat about is her situation. She's obviously got to sell her property, her family home. She's actually engaged another agent to do that, so it's unrelated to me. So I'm a bit independent from this situation. So one thing to understand, it's not just about actually selling the house. Sometimes it's about not selling the house too, and how that can actually have a negative impact on your life as well. So in this lady's situation, obviously that she's got an emotional connection to the house. Her husband built the house, so and that's 30, 40 years ago. So they've got that sort of connection to the house, and the fact that the whole family grew up in the house. So a lot of times you've got to realise when people are selling homes, it's a really emotional thing. They do have an attachment to the house, and it's not just about selling the house. It's about selling, as far as they can see, they're selling all the memories and the history behind. But the thing to understand is they're not giving up on all those memories and all the history behind the house. They're just moving on to creating new memories in a new home. So the thing to understand though, that by not being able to give up that history or the memories of their home can actually hold them back from developing the new memories, and likewise can actually cost them the money in a sense, and the fact that they could they're holding on to this massive house that they could actually downsize to another property which would be more suitable for them and be a lot better lifestyle wise for them, and also give them some funds to live in a lot more comfortable state. A lot of people in big houses, they don't really need the big house anymore. They're struggling to try and keep their bills and pay their council rates and water rates and land tax and all these other things on top of it, when they don't really have to. If they could sort of try and learn to it's hard to detach emotionally from the house, understanding that the house was only there for that period in their life, and now the house is no longer suitable, that they can maybe move on now to a house which is more suitable to their lifestyle. And it's going to give them even a better lifestyle going forward, and also put some money away, give them a lot less stress in their life, and give them a better life going forward, I suppose. So I'm going to talk about this bit of a situation. So how it can actually, not selling can create a bit of a hassle, and using your heart instead of your head, I suppose, can create a negative impact, not just financially, but also emotionally and lifestyle-wise. Also, when selling the property, because there's so much emotional value and emotional connection to the property, you might actually, over-represent what you think the house might be worth. And that could mean that when you go to sell the house, you have an expectation of the other people that are looking at purchasing the property, they have the same connection and same value that you see in the property. What that can mean, if you overprice the house when you put it on the market, and then maybe you don't get the amount of people come and look at the property you're hoping to come and look at the property. What that means is you really do have to hit the market pretty quickly. You need as many people to come and look at a house as possible. You need to create this sort of buying frenzy. Everyone comes, you get the best offers at the start, you get the most offers at the start, you want the most amount of people look at the property at the start. So you're going to make sure you price it to where the market's at, and if it is a bit if you're not really sure where it's at because there's no real comparable sales, you've got to be understanding we're putting on the market, get as much feedback as we can, as quickly as we possibly can, but we're going to have to match the market really quickly, because if we take time to try and come down to where the market's at, all those buyers, they've already gone on, they've moved on, they've bought other properties, we've lost those buyers, and before you know it, we've been on the market for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. basically the property's been stale. Any new buyers that come on the market, they know the property's been on the market for that period of time, so you're never really going to get the best offers at that point in time. And so quite often you find, because you've come into the preset of, hey, my house is really valuable to me, so it should be valuable to everybody else, and if other people can't see that value, then you end up getting in a situation where you end up having to drop the price of the house because of the emotional attachment to the house. You don't want to drop the price because, to be honest, you don't really want to sell the house anyway. Even though you need to sell the house to move on to where you want to go to, you don't want to sell it. So the price is a way of trying to delay that sales process. But because of that, you end up, the property sits on the market for 6 months or more, and before you know it, you've sold it a lot less than what you could have done if you priced at a realistic price from the start. So that's just an example of how an emotional attachment to a house can actually cost you money in the long term when you go to sell the property, because you don't price it as realistic as what you should, and you're not reacting to what the market's giving you feedback as what you should be pricing the property at. And so that generally means, the property becomes stale and you sell it for a lot less than you otherwise would. So so that's related to selling a property. Buying a property can be a similar sort of situation, but then on the other sense, if you walk into a property and you fall in love with it, for me as a real estate agent, that's basically the perfect type of person I want to find. I want to find 2 of those people preferably, because I want one person that falls in love with it and pays, they react with their heart rather than their head, and so they're willing to pay whatever it needs to get, because they're not focused on the money, they're focused on the lifestyle or the life it can give them by living in this house. So if I can get 2 of those people that really want this house and they can see the difference between this house and any other house they've seen, then they're willing to fight for it. And if I can get 2 of those people that are willing to fight for it, then they're going to pay what they're willing to pay, because it's not about what's comparable sales are or what the house down the road is sold for. It's about the value that they can get out of the property, or what it's worth to them, and that's intangible. They can weigh up, my kids go to local school, and then I'm going to be able to walk down to the coffee shop in the morning, or I can walk to the beach, and it's all about the lifestyle. And how do you value that? You can't really value that. So so for me, when I'm trying to sell a property, I'm trying to sell the lifestyle, and I want people to fall in love with it. And for me, I want to get 2 people that want to fall in love with it. Again, that's the reason when I'm marketing a property, I want lots of people to come and look at the house, because I've got more chance of finding 2 people that fall in love with it if I get 100 people there, rather than if I just get 2 people there. The chance of finding, those 2 people that look at it both fall in love with it and want to fight for it is a lot harder, I suppose. So you can see then, if you're on the other side of the coin, you're actually the buyer, and you come in with an agent like me that's trying to get as many people as possible to look at it. I try and present the house as nice as I possibly can. I try and create this lifestyle so you can fall in love with it. You can see, if you do fall in love with it, you're going to have to pay more than you otherwise would, because you're relying on your heart rather than your head to decide what you're going to pay for the house. So if you're using your head, then you might say, well, okay, this house looks pretty nice, but that other person there that want to pay a little bit more, good luck to them. I'm not willing to pay the extra amount, because I can buy the house down the road. It doesn't look as great as this house does now, but all I need is a bit of carpet and, a bit of paint, and, we can put a little extension out the back or whatever. But the cost of that is a lot less than buying this, super duper house that's all finished off. So, again, it's harder to fall in love with a house that's not finished down the road. But before you know it, we can fix it all up, and it can be that house that we fall in love with. So you can see how people can pay a little bit too much when they're buying, just like when they can, they maybe lose out when they try to sell a property. So hopefully that makes sense to people. Again, it's easier said than done to say, use your head rather than heart. But if you can try and do as much as you can, you're going to find it's really the amount of money it's going to put in your pocket. And again, I understand that you might not. It may feel like you're missing out, but in reality, extra money in your pocket gives you the lifestyle you want, which means you can go to the movies and take your kids to, take them to the beach or take them to the football, and that extra money in your lifestyle, that's going to add a better lifestyle to you as well. And you're not going to be so stressed, because at the end of the day, if you stretch yourself too much to buy that house of your dreams, sometimes you end up not liking the house so much, because you can't live the lifestyle you want, because you can't go to the movies and you can't go out to dinner and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully that's made sense. I know it's a little bit airy-fairy a little bit, but yeah, I think it is pretty important that people do use the numbers to a degree, and because at the end of the day, more money in your pocket's a good thing. So If you've liked what I said, then click on the like button. If you haven't liked what I said, then click on the like button too, and I'll try a bit harder for next time. And if you think someone might find it interesting what I have to say, then click on the share button. If you'd like me to talk about something else in the future, then click on the share button, the comment button, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have in the future. So thanks, guys, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.